going on, Jerome's? Only one more week for players to make their case to be on the Vikings 53-man roster with a week of practice, as well as the final preseason game next Saturday against the Eagles. 2 preseason games in the books. There's been some risers. There's been some fallers. So let's get into it. So 53-man roster projection post-second preseason game, as well as practice squad projection, because we are not cowards here. We are not. That's right. So offensively, slinging Sam Darnold and Nick Mullins. So color code. So you got the columns: rooster, practice squad, cut / waived. And then purple denotes starter, yellow backup, aqua, cyan practice squad, red cut, waived. So quarterbacks wise, slinging Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, and then Jaren Hall on the practice squad. Jaren Hall had himself a ball game, man. Really stepped up, and it was good to see because he was asked thank you against the Raiders. And we said this was a very important game for Jaren Hall. He had to look competent, otherwise the Vikings are going to have to go fish for quarterback 3. Now, Matt Corral, so I got yelled at for listing him as a loser, even though with the caveat it was literally like his third snap as a Viking and first pass attempt. So, but Coral, I don't know how much hay you can make in a week. But could I see a world where both Hall and Coral are on the practice squad? Yes. I mean, there's 16 practice squad spots. And, of course, Kevin O'Connell saw the value of having 4 quarterbacks last year. And there's a name missing from that list. Maybe I blocked it out from my memory. Anyways, but Coral with a week of practice. Frankly, with Mullins, he took such a beating against the Browns. I would, since he's your quarterback too, sit Darnold. And just play Jaren Hall and Matt Corral the last preseason game. Just go from there. Running backs wise, Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, King Kenny, and Wangu. I mean, they're going to do everything to have Kenny be the third running back, which I love. McBride and Myles Gaskin both on the practice squad. So McBride, they've been trying to use quite a bit as a kick returner. Gaskin is a very solid do-it-all veteran. You saw him in action. So McBride used to be 37, then he became 27, and then Myles Gaskin got his 37 back. So, baby, we're back. Also, C.J. Ham as fullback / probably special teams captain. Receivers, so keeping 6. So we got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Actually, hell, sign Jordan Jefferson too. See if he wants to be quarterback 5. Why the hell not? The pride of LSU. And also Jalen Speedy Naylor as your top 3 receivers, 3 deep and 11 personnel. Brandon Powell, Tristan Jackson making the 53. He's at a big preseason, was great at training camp as well. Deshaun Jones. So I think this is it's not so much Deshaun Jones had a big-time play against the Browns, but it's also not that. But he has been consistently putting up plays. Plus, and the Vikings, gave him $225K guaranteed as a UDFA. I believe he is allowed to double dip on that if he is waived and signed somewhere else. So the Vikings, I think they want to keep him in the mix because I think that, especially given the dearth of receiver play and depth around the league, I think that Jones may be snapped up. 2 on the practice squad, the veteran Trent Sherfield, as well as Lucky Jackson, who they had play a lot of punt returner on Saturday. Maybe he'll be the understudy to Brandon Powell, especially with Thayer Thomas on IR. Now, Thomas, working through concussion protocol. It wouldn't shock me at all if they like Thomas enough, but it's a numbers game with the 53 on practice squad that they injured reserve him. So we'll see. Knowles, even though Knowles caught himself a touchdown, Ty James has been in the mix as well. I mean, there's just only so many spots, Yeah. Tight ends wise, so I think that they'll keep Hawkinson on the pup to save that roster spot because, I mean, if he's not going to return before week 5 anyway, I mean, what's the point? Also, why would you take him off the PUP list since you already have him on there? Put him on short-term injured reserve and then just bring him back after 4 weeks. You can only bring back 8 players off of IR, so why burn a spot on him when effectively, paperwork-wise, you can just have him on the PUP. It's the same thing. Oliver, Johnny Munt, Nick Muse on the 53. I think they want Nick Muse to be something, man. Also, N'Keal Harry, they used him a lot over the last 2 preseason games and during practice. Talk about practice. Whenever the second team offense has been out there, they've been running a lot of 2 tight end sets. N'Keal Harry's been out there quite a bit, man. Samus Reyes is the international pathway player. Doesn't count against the roster or the practice squad. And Tanyan, up on blocks, like maybe he's put on IR. Maybe he's released with a injury settlement. Who knows? Trey Knox. I mean, Knox has made some plays, so maybe. Maybe. Offensive line-wise, keep a 9. So a little bit of a change. Darisaw, Bradbury, Reisner, starting at right guard. Come on up for the Reisner. Right tackle, Brian O'Neill. 4 reserves, Walter Rouse, the 6th-round pick out of Oklahoma/Stanford. Ed Ingram. Actually, could Ed Ingram be a surprise cut? Maybe. I don't know. Diamond Dan Feeney as well as David Quisenberry round out your 53 for O-lineman. Juergens and Tyrese Robinson. So Juergens been up and down. He had the field goal block, but he played good center against the Raiders. Had a couple of plays that he certainly would want back against the Browns, but also the Browns second teamers are certainly no joke either. But it's pretty clear that they want him to be something for the future, but if they can get him on the practice squad, if they feel confident they can do that, then potentially protect him. Makes sense. Tyrese Robinson is a guy that I've really liked and a guy that should be rising on up. Frankly, I think that he has played better than Ed Ingram over the last 2 preseason games. So I think T-Rob definitely stays in the mix. Also, if I was going to elevate one cut waived, it would be Henry Bird. So been playing some guard as well as filled in at center. Well, didn't fill in, but took over at center for the third teamers in the fourth quarter yesterday. Defensively, so there's been a lot of movement up here. And it's going to be really close, man. So keeping 6 D linemen on the 53, 2 in the practice squad. So Tillery, Phillips, Bullard, I think those are your starting 3. Then Levi Drake Rodriguez, Jonah Williams, who's had a great preseason and camp. Jaquelin Roy. It's going to be close. Like, it's not like Roy is a first or second round pick. He's a 5th rounder. Not guaranteed his contract. So I think that maybe he could be on the practice squad, but he showed some decent flashes against the Browns yesterday, had a couple nice stops. Then I think they keep one of the nose tackles, Taki Tamani, as well as Tyler Manoa. I mean, it's sort of back and forth, toss a coin. I mean, Tamani's had some good plays during practices. Manoa's had some great plays during preseason games. So I don't know. I think they'll keep one of them. Jalen Redmond, I think, has flashed a little bit more than James Lynch coming off that ACL. So if it came down to one spot on the practice squad, I think that they go with the UFL star. Edge rusher. So we changed this one up because we had listed Jihad Ward as a defensive lineman, but he does have that versatility, being 6'5", 280, but they've been using him almost exclusively as second-team edge rusher with Dallas Turner, etc. But I think that they keep 6 and 2. So Grenard, and also they get a little creative. So Grenard, Van Ginkel, Diamond Dallas Turner, Patrick Jones second, Jihad Ward, and Bo Richter round out the 53. And then on the practice squad, so we got Carter the second, Owen Porter, both making it, as well as Gabriel Murphy on IR. Now, what they can do is they can release a veteran who is not in danger of getting claimed on waivers. So, looking through, maybe Dan Feeney could be that candidate, possibly. Now, Johnny Munt, no. That's a schedule. I don't know. But either way, they could certainly get creative. Now, they've done this a number of times. They did this with Everson Griffin a couple years ago. They did this with Brett Jones a couple of times, where basically you have a guy, you don't even clean out his locker. You're just like, hey, you chill for a week, and then we'll sign you back once 53-man rosters are set. Now, they could carry Murphy on the 53 initially, and then once they get through that window of the roster being set, then put him on IR, short-term IR, and can bring him back throughout the season. All right, so that could be a path that they explore there. But, I mean, the Vikings have a good problem. They have 9 really good edge rushers and only so many spots. But who knows, man? I still think that if the Vikings were going to trade a player, Patrick Jones would make sense since he's in a contract year. He's looked good. He does have a ton of value. But also hang on to some of these other dudes, Richter, Porter, Carter, Murphy. I mean, could make sense. Off balls, so this is pretty static. Pace Jr., Cashman, Grugier Hill, Asma. Dallas Gant is making a push, man. Like, could it be a spot where Dallas Gant has played so well that you have to keep 5 off balls? Because I think he'll play some great special teams. He was flying around making plays over the last 2 preseason games. 96 has been really damn effective. Like, 96 questions? No, 96 answers. Dallas Gant. Plus, I'm not going to lie, like, 96 obviously isn't a common off-ball linebacker number, but it looks really damn good on him, man. I like it. Jordan Kunazik. So, Kunazik actually made a really good open field tackle in special teams. So, maybe, but could be too little, too late. Since he came into the rooster a little bit later on, replacing Jabril Cox. Quarterback-wise, so 5-2, Shaq Griffin, Byron Murphy Jr., and then rhymes with Mafon Milmore, saving a roster spot. Keep it open. Caleb Evans, Dwight McLaughlin, rounding things out. I think McLaughlin has really shown up and shown out. 100% he's making the 53. Stone cold lock. 2 veterans on the practice squad, so Moreau and Shelley. I think you're fine getting them through waivers and onto the practice squad. You can call them up on game days as needed. Cut waived, so A.J. Green, even though he's had some moments. Jacoby Francis, even though he had a nice pick late in the game against the Browns. Jalen Williams. I've liked Jalen Williams, but and also Nashawn Wright, who came over in the trade from Andrew Booth Jr. Safety-wise, so interesting development. So Harrison, Beasley, Metellus, Theo Jackson. Those 4 are locks. And I think that they keep 5. It comes between Scene and Jay Ward, because I think you can get Bobby McCain through waivers onto the practice squad like Moreau and Shelley. So Jay Ward has really not been great. And I want him to be great. Carry on my Jay Ward son, the pride of LSU. They've been flexing him out at cornerback. It just hasn't looked good. And Scene looked really damn good on Saturday. And frankly, he looked pretty damn good against the Raiders as well. So it could be a spot where Scene could be traded. If there's some value there, sure. Or, hell, maybe they just hang on to him. I mean, he's under contract for another season. And also, they have the 5th-year option. But we'll see. He's fully healthy for the first time in his first 3 years, so we'll see. And then specialist straightforward, Reichard, Ryan Wright, Andrew Paulo. Actually keeping Najee on the pup to save a roster spot since the Vikings have a ton of other really good special teamers. And wait till he gets fully healthy. Seth Vernon loses the punter battle, and he is gone. But that's it. That's at 53-man roster projection, post-second preseason game edition. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. You know what to do. Skol, production value.